You'll never please 100% of people. Just be willing to not be so hard on yourself and just make stuff and get it out there and just kind of see what happens. You just kind of take it like one little step, kind of build upon, your successes and, just see where it goes, really. Yeah, you never know. You never know who's looking and watching. So.
Welcome back to the channel, Fat Boys. Here is going to be an interview that I had with some Ohio guy, and a lot of you may not be aware of him, and I really wanted to do this interview with him so that way a lot of people, and so you have the opportunity to actually be introduced to him. He is such an amazing person, amazing creative, and I feel like he's really worth your while to go and start following him, but also hear his journey, so that way you're able to relate to him, and so you know that the creative journey is not one set path, but it is a journey that everyone has to take and everyone is a part of. Okay, so you want to give me a simple overview of who you are, what you actually do for a living. Give me a little bit of a background story for you. Maybe an elevator pitch. That's a good way to put it.
The Ohio guy elevator pitch. My name is Clinton Blake. I go by some Ohio guy, I guess. I go by it. I don't know. I made that name up as a joke because I thought it would be funny if when I started following people on like Instagram and social media, it was like some Ohio guy started following you and some Ohio guy started liking your stuff. And I don't know, it's stupid. That's like my humor though. I really don't take much serious in my life besides my like photography and videography and all my creative stuff. So yeah, otherwise I'm not a serious person. So I'm from Ohio. I've been in the creative industry for about 12 years. I've been a designer, graphic designer, videographer, photographer, presentation specialist, live event producer, like you name it. I've had my hand in it. In the creative industry, that's for sure. That's a little bit of background. I've worked with some really cool companies too. I mean, that's kind of boring though. It's not motorcycles.
Yeah. But I mean, it's interesting because you have those connections that you're talking about. So that way it's not necessarily like it's motorcycle related, but it's showing that you've worked with these really big companies to where it's that foot in the door type of thing.
No, I've always, I don't know. It's such a weird industry to work in. Like I love it. Like, I absolutely love doing it. The actual industries I've worked in have all been like widely different, but my skill set is always the same within those. So I'm always, using the same skills and coming up with cool creative stuff so I can get paid.
So what got you started in all of this?
So it was actually in 2020 when the pandemic hit. Everything got shut down. I found myself kind of because I did a lot of events. I would photograph and work a lot of live events at the company that I'm currently with, and everything shut down, so we weren't able to do that. So I love motorcycles. I've been riding since for about the past like 5 years or so, 5 to 7 years, I think. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, what else can I do besides ride a motorcycle and take photos? And I took a lot of photos of myself. Yeah. Because I didn't have anyone else to photograph at the time. I just started doing that, just riding around town, finding like cool abandoned places, meeting all sorts of like really cool and interesting people along the way. So
I feel like the video that really caught my attention, that really grabbed my eye towards your creative work, was your 360 video that you first really put out there. And I think you were going over a bridge. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think that was your first real true major hit to where like everyone was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing.
Yeah. Like it's funny because like when I'm not gonna act like I'm gonna take credit for like, 360 videos on motorcycle. I am not that. No, it's not me. I will say I have noticed like when I first started doing it, like when like 2020, I didn't see that many. So I was like, this will be cool if I like, if I kind of like leaned into that a lot, and I did, and it turned out to be pretty fun, and people liked it. So I just kept doing stuff with it.
It's kind of like how I always say, you don't have to be the first to create the wheel, but how you did it, you reinvented the wheel. You took this tool that was there that people have been using for a while. I remember when 360 cameras came out, like in 2016 or something like that, and I was using them in some projects and stuff at that time. But you and your editing style, you put your own twist on it. You really brought it home to show like, hey, this is what you can really do with motorcycles. And it made it really cool and really interesting. And you also put it into reel format, which got everyone's attention and spread like wildfire. When did you start getting into your creative field, and how did you get started into it? Like, what's been your process? What's been your life evolvement through all this?
I'm honored that you even want to know. Well, it kind of all started long time ago, way back 2006. I was a couple years out of high school at the time, and I was just working at, and this will be a blast from the past. I was working at Circuit City. Yeah, I'm old. I was working at Circuit City, and I was like, I don't want to be in retail anymore. And at the time, it was either like go to college or just keep doing what I was doing. I decided to go to college and, lean towards creative endeavors and try and figure out what I wanted to do in a creative industry and see if I can make money out of it. I graduated in 2010, and I've been fortunate enough to kind of have work ever since. And I've been working in the industry ever since. So I'm pretty happy about that.
You know whose story you really remind me of?
Who's that?
Peter Mckinnon.
Oh, really?
He started out and he was like in his like mid-20s and stuff like that. He was like a chef beforehand and stuff like that, and like a magician on the side, but he was working at Best Buy. He was working at a Best Buy, not wanting to, and he was just like, I'm tired of this corporate job. I'm tired of being here. I'm tired of this, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And then finally he's just like, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to be a creative. And so that's what that reminded me of. And just like how you have this transition, you're just like, yeah, I'm not happy where I am. What makes me happy? I'm going to go all in for it.
I think a lot of people get to that point in one way, shape, or form. You have to change things up. I mean, if you can. I was fortunate enough that I was able to. I know not everybody can. I guess I'm just grateful that I was able to, because I know some people I can't. So
if you had to describe your style, how would you try to describe it?
My style, candid, I guess. I love like kind of hiding and setting up, and anytime I'm like at an event, or if I'm shooting something somewhere, I always try and get the shot that no one else is getting, or try to get a shot that no one else is getting, because when you're at these events, there's tons of people taking photos, taking video. I when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I could stand here and get like the shot of this person doing this thing and just call it a day, or I could, almost get down on the ground and shoot up, or like, hide behind some people and shoot between people and like, stuff like that.
You see what everyone else is doing and you go, okay, they got that covered, whereas no one. So you want to go to that place.
I know I'm going to be taking shots that are going to be different. I'm not saying they're better. They're just going to be different. Like all the angles and stuff are going to be different from anyone else that's shooting there. So
how I've come to expect your style, and whenever I'm seeing your content come up, I like to see it, as you said, like it is the candid content that I have come to expect, and I definitely see that, but it's also the grungy filmness that I've come to expect. Like whenever I see like some Ohio guy posted, or I go onto your story, I'm expecting to see the heavy grain. I'm expecting to see the muted certain colors, but then very punchy certain colors too coming out of that. And that's a very unique look that not a lot of people are actually doing.
Some people, yeah. Well, first off, thank you for noticing. Second off, yeah, like I think people, they can do that, but a lot of people can overdo it. I try not to overdo it. Like as far as like each individual, like, photo or shot goes, I try to keep it relatively like toned back from like what I used to do. I love grittiness and grunginess, and like I would go around to, back when I was riding and just taking photos of myself, like one of my favorite things to do was to go to these abandoned places and just like see if I can take some shots of my bike in front of them or in them if I felt cagey. I could see if I can put my bike somewhere, but
I feel like part of that comes from like how your brain works, because part of me feels like you have this like really dark, twisted side of you that you're not allowing a lot of people to see. Because I look at the Biker Babe Beth photo shoot where she's like a zombie. I can't remember. I think that's what it was. So I look at that and I'm like, yeah, this is the twisted side of him that he's allowing out that no one else really gets to see. But then as an example, like I love that style. I just can't see in that style.
Even in my like design work, like when I first started out, like I was always drawn to like the grungy fonts and like the distressed type, and I would always use like way too many textures and stuff. And yeah, it's kind of always like kind of been in me and been my like style, but I've definitely toned it back to where it's more palatable for others. That's for sure. This is, like I said, this is definitely my creative outlet where I can kind of just let myself shine in the grungy, distorted, distressed way. You mentioned, my dark side, I guess. I don't take myself seriously enough to like think I have a dark side like that. But I do have like my horror short that I shot a couple weeks back, and I'm actually really close to like sharing like a first edit with the crew that I worked with and my my actors and stuff. I really like how it's coming together. I think it's kind of a different style for me to kind of go into. It's still like a little gritty and grungy, but it's like a culmination of like everything I've learned ever since. Like it's just been like trying to get people on board and loving it. And even our beloved Biker Babe Beth has a cameo in it.
Tell us about your bike experience.
Well, I currently ride 2021 Pan America Special. That's been my kind of mobile photo studio. That's the whole reason why I bought it is because I wanted a bike that I could kind of like load down with a bunch of stuff. And, if I had to go a little off-roading, nothing too crazy because I'm, I don't know. I'm almost 40 and I don't want to break my hip or anything. The bike itself is great. Like it does a little bit of everything and it does it all pretty well. Like, and it's fast as hell too. And it's, comfortable. I rode it last year. I took it out to Brooklyn, New York. That's where I visited Whiskey Chaser. Yeah, he's become a good friend. Yeah, I went out there and I visited him and hung out with a bunch of really just rad people at the Indian Larry block party. It was a good time. But yeah, then I took it back to Columbus and now it's sitting in my garage just waiting to be ridden even more. And I do have a couple trips that I have planned, so that'll be good.
Yeah, now that the snow is melting away, you got all the reasons in the world to go riding. So also speaking of Chase, it's interesting to me how massive this creator community is over Instagram and YouTube and all of the creative fields we have, but how close knit it is at the same time, because like hell, I live down in Florida, and that's when we first started talking over Instagram, and then you're up in Ohio, and then Chase is over New York, and yet we're all communicating. We are all still a part of this individual community to where we're all going through the same struggles, we're all going through the same things, and we're all like, oh, yo, dude, what's up? What's up, fam?
Yeah.
Type of thing. We totally get each other. We're totally
a
part of the same struggles.
Dude, I don't know how to back that up or support that. What you just said, like more than how you just said it, because that's 100% accurate. I've talked to people like all over the world almost, and I'm like thinking about it, and it's like everybody has like the common love of motorcycles. So it is the most inviting community I've ever been a part of like anything, and just everybody's just so like excited to like just help out and just like connect and like and it's great. Like that's what you want in like a community. It's here. That's why more people should ride.
Which is really crazy to me because you see bikers and you think they're just like, before I started riding, I used to see bikers as just either the big burly Harley guys or the sport bike riders that kind of fly by and just want to kill you or kill themselves. Like that was the only way I saw it. But once I started getting into it, you are just like, no one cares. We're all here to survive and have fun while doing it. So my next really big question for you is, what are your dreams and your goals that are following along in with this creative aspect? Do you have any goals to where you would be starstruck, you'd be head over heels if like this one company came up to you and were like, hey, we want to hire you for this?
You just kind of take it like one little step, kind of build upon, your successes and, just see where it goes, really. Not to like fanboy too much about Harley-Davidson, but like honestly, like anything Harley-Davidson related would be great. I remember when I posted some photos and the Harley-Davidson Museum like reposted them and everything. I was like, oh, that's really cool that they like acknowledged my existence. Did
they start following you?
I don't think so. I don't think they have.
Come on, Harley, get on the ball. Follow him.
Yeah. Let's shame them into following me. That always works out well. I always think because I've just been producing and putting stuff out there for so long, I'm like, I wonder who's seen my stuff and who's appreciated it that I'll just never know, because they might not even know that I've made it. Yeah, you never know. You never know who's looking and watching. So
I know.
Just always be on. Always.
Do you have any closing remarks that you want to give to people about just the journey in general?
Yeah, I have a couple things I can say, I guess. I don't know. It's difficult because like everyone's journey is a little different. And it kind of depends on where you want to be and what you want to do. I can give people advice and be like, always be willing to stick your neck out there and do something adventurous and, don't be afraid to risk. And like, that I feel like that's all like a little cliche. It's like, yeah, if you want to do anything, you kind of have to do that. The main takeaway that I was going to share something is like, don't be discouraged. You'll never please 100% of people. There's like an old marketing term. It's like, if you're satisfying 80%, it's a success. So, if you get close to 80%, just consider that a success. But there's going to be times where you get maybe 10% approval, but you don't dwell on those times. So, just be willing to not be so hard on yourself, and just make stuff and get it out there and just kind of see what happens. And don't be scared to ask for help either. I know a lot of people try and do everything on their own. I'm very guilty of that. Sometimes you just need to have someone else come in and help you out. Other people are good at stuff too. That's what I tell myself all the time. Like let other people help you and let them like bring in their talents and their skills to make yourself and learn from them and, build upon that.
So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It greatly helps out the channel. If you're new here, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell notification so you know when the next video comes on out. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.